Hello guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm predicting Champions League, some Champions League and some Carabao Cups. Come on! No being cheeky! And no saying no touching and no more busters. And no funny noises! Come on! Right, we've got 50 subscribers now. Before you get into YouTube channel, please hit the subscribe button. So the Champions League is back tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it as well. Can PSG go back-to-back titles in the Champions League? We're about to find out. First up, Atletico Bilbao versus Arsenal. The Champions League is returning to Sam Mays as Atletico Giants is against Atletico Madrid. Atletico Giants prepared for the visit of Arsenal to Bilbao this week in their opening game. Atletico have enjoyed an impressive few years, and now Europe's elite club competition has returned to Bilbao on the back of a strong start to the season in La Liga. However, in La Liga, as for Arsenal, Mikel Arteta has been granted some major funds over the summer. There has been deepened the Arsenal squad, and the Gunners now boasting the quality of depth that should have been challenging on all fronts this season. The Gunners have come into this one of a comfortable 3-0 defeat of Nottingham Forest at the Emirates Stadium at the weekend, making it 3 victories from their opening 4 Premier League matches so far in this campaign. On a big occasion last season, Athletic put in a couple of woeful performances, particularly against Manchester United in the semi-finals of the Europa League, but they have dealt with a few difficult things over the summer, such as Yeri Harvez. Now they've been suspended for 10 months, but the performances haven't been as good as the results have suggested thus far. Arsenal may have some key absentees for this one, but the depth has been built for a reason, but they could get themselves off to a winning start in Europe. But I'm going for Arsenal to win 2-0. Yep, 2-0. Next up, we have got, let's go for Juventus versus Dortmund. Juventus versus Dortmund. Right, these are the two sides enjoyed a relatively European success in mid-2010s as Juventus now prepared to welcome Borussia Dortmund at the LA Stadium in Turin this week. So the total end of last season, Juventus partnered company with Thiago Motta. They replaced him with Igor Tuber, who has remained in charge somewhat surprisingly after a round of 16 exit at the hands of the summer's FIFA Club World Cup. The old lady coming into this one on the back of a 4-3 defeat of Lazio in the derby Italiano. And Dortmund, wow, Dortmund was appointed Nico Kovacic. Borussia Dortmund has managed to propel the German Giants of the top 4 finish and the Champions League qualification, with viewers now challenging to the Bundesliga again. Right, ever since the appointment for Juve have played a controlling style of football, but who has often seems them to struggle to be fluent in the final third, but score too many goals. They have the Dortmund side have been able to play with good balance aside from the opening day. Draw with Simpoli and Kovacic and reigniting their managerial career. However, Juventus managed to find some attacking form from the other day, and both teams scoring would therefore be a reasonable shout for this one. I'm going for Juventus 1, Bayern Munich 2. Juventus 1, Dortmund 2. I think I'm going to edge towards Dortmund. PSV versus USG, I'm going PSV to win 3-0. And I'm going for Benfica to beat Carabao 3-0 as well. Right, let's go to Let's go to the Bernabeu. Real Madrid versus Marseille. 15-time European champions, Real Madrid have hostedly but contributable and unpredictable Holy P. The Marseille side to the Bernabeu in the Spanish capital city. New area has begun at Real Madrid this year, and with Alonso returning to the Abby Alonso returning to the Bernabeu, trying to propose Los Barcelos at the summit of the Spanish and European football after a magnificent stint in charge of Bayern Leverkusen. The performances may not have been as exciting as many would have hoped for just yet, but the results have been strong for Madrid, with this season with a 2-1 win over Basque Country against Real Sociedad, the other day making it 4 wins from 4 games in La Liga. And Roberto De Zerbi used to be entertaining Southerners for Brighton manager, but now he's left, sneaking to sustain a challenge for the French title this season. Yeah, that's right. Marseille have been remarkably impressive squad for a team in Liga 1, not named PSG, the likes of Landro Brandy, Emerson Palais, Per MJ, Hoiberg, Arthur Fenty, Eric Abanian, Matt O'Reilly on the other day, all on the bench on the other day. But Abby Alonso, who has a deep and impressive squad, and with their home advantage, they will fancy themselves to win the game. And they may not be straightforward for the Spanish, but I'm going for Real Madrid to win 3-1. Right. Tottenham, next up, Tottenham versus Villarreal. Tottenham Hotspur are back in the Champions League, and Thomas Frank's side kicks off their campaign with a visit of a strong Villarreal side to the North London this week. Tottenham Hotspur are back in the Champions League after the result of winning last season's Europa League. Since then, the former Brentford boss Thomas Frank has replaced Ange Postecoglou in the Spurs dugout. Frank has enjoyed an excellent start to his time as Tottenham boss. They most recently defeated West Ham United by 3-0 at the London Stadium at the weekend, making it 3 victories from their opening 4 Premier League matches. As for Villarreal, the former Valencia boss, Villarreal has been improving over the last few seasons, but the Yellow Submarine have been able to once again start this campaign after a reasonably heavy investment over the summer. Marcello has often been criticised for being too strict for his 4-4-2 system. They have shown a lot more flexibility and facility at a couple of seasons, but there have been abundance of attacking options and will go to London with a bit of confidence. Spurs will have to deal with the higher level European football, but Frank will have been statistically pierced, but he usually in the complication and playing for more often, but Spurs will have home advantage, and I think Spurs will win 2-1. Right, let's go for Ajax versus Inter Milan. Ajax versus Inter Milan. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, let's go. Right, Ajax have returned as the Champions League. Return to the Champions League, but they have again experienced a lot of change over the summer as they welcome Inter Milan to the Amsterdam in the Netherlands. So Ajax and Inter Milan former former runners-up a few years ago, losing out to Man City, 2023. Ajax have started the season with a bit of a controlled under their manager, but sneaking to avoid chaos of recent seasons. But there were concerns over Inter, but seemingly one to look out for. But I'm going for Inter Milan to win 2-0. Paul Nicholson, time for the re-event. Why the World Series of Darts needs the Ramtham to become a proper major and the excitement supporters. So players like Phil Taylor, Michael van Gerwen, Peter Wright, Gary Hansen, Raymond van Barneveld and Adrian Lewis. To say like why Adrian, sorry, I was talking about darts by the way. Right, next up we have got Chelsea versus Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich versus Chelsea. Bayern Munich are looking to reassert themselves as a force in the Champions League, but with the now they've taken on Chelsea. Good to see them back in the Champions League, of course. But it has been a brilliant start to the season for Bayern Munich. But with the Barons sneaking to defend German title and also add further trophies to the cabinet, progressing in the DFB Pokal after winning the DFL Super Cup last month. Vincent Kompany's side most recently hammered newly promoted Hamburg by 5-0 at the Allianz Arena, but they have now won 5 of their 5 across all competitions, scoring 19 goals in the process. Chelsea haven't won the 2025 FA Cup World Cup over the summer. Chelsea have underperformed at the start of this season. As a result, they are very short pre-season, but there will be a few grumblings of frustration within the Blues fan base. They have started with 4 London derbies against Crystal Palace, West Ham, Fulham and Brentford. They have collected 8 points from those games as a result of a 2-2 draw with the Bees at the G Tech Community Stadium at the weekend. Right, Bayern Munich and Chelsea is a match between the clash of styles. Bayern play with an energy and intensity, but they try to be relentless and suffocate their opposition, and Chelsea under Enzo Maresca are a lot more deliberate and coherent in possession, sneaking to control the game. Bayern have the firepower and home advantage, but they do always appear to be susceptible against a team that remote quality, so it should be a good watch for the neutrals, but I'm going for a 2-2 draw. How about goals for some fun? Right, PSG, defending champions, of course, taking on and the new look of Atalanta. Last season, PSG won their first ever treble with a remarkable run of the second half of the campaign, accumulating a 5-0 demolition of Inter Milan in the Champions League at the in Munich. Luis Suarez, they've got some strong players as well, particularly Mendes, of course, and as for Atalanta, they were replaced by the former Southampton boss, Ivan Juric, who overhauled the Saints' humiliation relegation from the Premier League last season. Paris Saint-Germain haven't quite as been as slick as the second half of last season, but undoubtedly because of a shortened pre-season, but they do have injuries to deal with for this one. However, despite that, they remain the strongest side in Europe now, welcome to an Inter Milan side, all belted. They did beat poor Lise aside on the other day. Looks set to regress this season with a comfortable home win. Remains likeliest outcome. I'm going for PSG to win 3-0. Right, Liverpool versus Atletico Madrid. We have a team that have tipped Liverpool up at Anfield in the Champions League in a recent past, as Atletico Madrid head to the Merseyside this week midweek. But Like last season, the intent for Liverpool will be try and to compete for the all fronts, but that's shown by the mega spending over the summer with Alexander Isak, their new 125 million striker, potentially making a debut in this one. They have won all 4 of their Premier League games. That's my team I've got with all 4 victories, requiring late winners at the weekend with a hard-fought clash at Turf Moor. Liverpool eventually stuck 3 points courtesy of a Mohamed Salah second half stoppage time penalty against beating Burnley 1-0. Atletico Madrid, they are a very awkward side to play against, but Liverpool have the abundance of attack and quality, but there is a feeling that they have yet to find the balance and fluency that they had for much of last season. Despite that, they are still finding a way to win. They face a Atletico side that head to Anfield looking to build on the weekend, but knowing Samuel, rather than using those attacking combinations once again, sitting back and waiting to be edged out would seem the likely outcome. I'm going for Liverpool to win 2-0. Right. Newcastle. This is Barcelona. Newcastle versus Barcelona. Barcelona. Newcastle coming into this game of a back of a solid start to the season in tough conditions, but the Magpies have one win and 2 draws and 1 loss from 4 games in the Premier League. Drawing to Aston Villa and Leeds, and lost to Liverpool, and then beat Wolves 1-0, while Barcelona meanwhile have started strongly, winning 3 and drawing 1 of their last 4 games in La Liga. So Anthony Gordon for Newcastle, after he's missed 2 games though, suspension in the Premier League, but the Magpies have won 7 of their last 9 games at St James's Park. Very, very tough outfit to topple at home, but I've been expecting more goals, but I'm going for 2-2. And Man City versus Napoli. Man City versus Napoli. So Man City's start of the season has been a mix, but with 2 wins and 2 defeats from 4, while Napoli have enjoyed 3 wins from 3. City have won 4 of their last 5 games at home, and Man City just thrashed Man United yesterday. Pep Guardiola's men are still searching for their best form, but despite the fact they are on the back of a 3-0 win over Manchester United, the team is yet to fully convince. Erling Haaland, though, they started the season like a freight train, scoring 5 goals in the Premier League games. He is clearly going to be essential to anything the team achieve this season. And with John Stones, Ryan Cherky and Maseo Kovacic, I'm going for City to win 3-1. So that's my predictions for the Champions League. Right, let's move on to the 3rd round quickly. Before it gets too late, of course. Right, Sheffield Wednesday versus Grimsby Town. Following their historic second round triumph against Manchester United on penalties, Grimsby Town's reward is a 3rd round tie at the Championship strugglers Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield Wednesday made it to the 3rd round despite fielding a team packed with youth players, winning on penalties against Bolton and Leeds United. Likelihood that is they will do the same here again, which could potentially open a door for Grimsby, but confidence within League 2 club squad will be sky high after that memorable Man United win following a marathon penalty shootout. All 4 League Cup ties involving at least one of 2 of the 2 sides have been both teams scored in 90 minutes, with 3 of them ending in draws. It would be no surprise that to see another end-to-end contest, with both seeing this game as extremely winnable. Sheffield Wednesday are on the higher division, but Grimsby will have a play of full strength XL, while as the hosts are likely to rear Three key players again. Therefore, back both teams to score once again. Right, on to an all Premier League matchup. Only team in England's top 7 divisions yet to score in the league this season. Aston Villa will have a different competition, yields better success in front of goal as they visit Brentford. So it's been a frustrating start to life in the Premier League for Unai Emery, and Aston Villa they are still without a win after 4 games, losing two and drawing 2. Key to their poor start have been serve a lack of production going forward. Villa are currently the only team remaining across all of the English football's top 7 divisions not to have found the net. But this sets up the great opportunity for Brentford, who have been good at home so far this season, beating Villa by 1-0 in the Premier League and drawing 2-2 against Chelsea. Villa had no answer versus the Bees backline in their last encounter, while as Keith Andrews may opted to rotate his defence, but Brentford boss will sense the opportunity for a good cup run when they taken into the account Villa's future European commitments and their recent struggles, and it's worth backing a Brentford victory. I'm going for Brentford to win 2-0. And third up, and then the South London derby, Crystal Palace versus Millwall. The Notchley's Strom Cup manager Oliver Glasner aims to manage Crystal Palace's numerous cup commitments around their league campaign, but Millwall at home to represent a challenging League Cup draw. Crystal Palace lots multiple commitments this season. What with the Premier League, defending the FA Cup, competing in Europe, but also in the League Cup, which is their focus here. But a spicy London derby is in perspective between the Eagles and the Championship club Millwall, who overcame Newport County and Coventry City to reach this stage. Oliver Glasner should make changes to his starting lineup, who drew 0-0 at home to Sunderland last time out, while there's maybe the more impetus in the chat could also open the door for Millwall with that in mind. The result is a hard one to call in this one, but I'm backing the contest to be decided on penalties. Following a draw may prove to be a strong move, but I think Palace will have a little bit too much to say 3-1. And then finally, Swansea City versus Nottingham Forest. Swansea City versus Nottingham Forest. Right. Swansea City versus Nottingham Forest. Ange Postecoglou's second game in charge of Nottingham Forest see them travel to SwanseaCity.com stadium to take on Swansea in the third round of the Carabao Cup on Wednesday night. The Tricky Trees coming in the clash of a back of losing 3-0 to Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium in the Premier League over the weekend. Meanwhile, the Swans drew 2-2 at home to hold, but they may be in decent form in the Championship. Indeed, this is set to be an interesting clash that could well go all the way to the penalty shootout. But it could be an upset, but I'm going for Nottingham Forest to have enough and to win 2-0. That's my predictions then for the Champions League and the Carabao Cup predictions. Leave on your comments below, guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye, peace out.